don't you join me on my iPad and I'll show you how to set that up.
Okay, so what I want to do is just give you a quick drawing overview of what 3-point lighting looks like with my my poor drawing skills. So what we're going to do is say if you're sitting at your desk, I'm going to put it in pen mode here. If you're sitting at your desk like this, and here's your smiley face, and we're going to be facing this direction, right? Looking out at your desk here, and your desk is in front of you, like so. So you're looking that way, sitting at your desk, top-down view. 3-point lighting is going to be putting a light here and a light here. And so you've got your lights coming out. And the way that these work is you have one light over here, and this light is what you would call your key light. And you have another light over here that you would call your fill light. And your key light, this is the light that provides most of the light for your subject. So your light, if you were using your, if you had a dimmable light like one of the ones we'll talk about in this video, you might set the light to 100% power. If you have lights that aren't dimmable, you might put this one closer to you. Your fill light is then going to light up the shadows that are created by the key light. So this light's going to come across and it's going to put shadows across the left side of your face if it's on the right side. And those shadows you don't want to be dark in your video, so you use a fill light to lighten up those shadows. For a long time in my studio as a fill light, I just used the window that I had sitting in my desk here, and I put a curtain over it so it was a little bit softer, and use that as a fill light. I now have a second one of my little Lume Cube lights, and what I do is I just put this at 50% brightness, and that gives me less light to light up those shadows on this side. It makes for really nice natural light on this side. So that's I mentioned it's called 3-point lighting. So this is light number 1, this is light number 2, and then you have a third light that is in the back, and this is called your rim light. And your rim light goes between you and your background. So if you have your background behind you, whether that's your wall or the backdrop that you put up or your studio, you put your rim light between you and the background. And what that does is it lights up the back of your head, and it creates what they call background separation. It makes you pop out from your backdrop and look a little better in your frame. There's lots of different ways you can position your rim light. I don't actually have a dedicated rim light in my studio. I just have, on my ceiling, I have an LED light that is one of our room lights, and I just matched the color temperature of my key light and my fill light to whatever my ceiling light was, and I flip that on, and because that light it's in my studio, it's located like right here, and it's shining directly down. And that light is providing the rim light between me and the background. And that is your third light. So that's 3-point lighting. There's a couple of different ways you can set these all up, but you can use this basic setup for lighting pretty much any type of video you're doing. It's really useful for the podcast style video that we're talking about. But again, you can, if you have dimmable lights, you do one at 100% or whatever brightness you need. If it's 80%, then you do your other one at 40%, so half the power. Or if you're putting your lights, and they're not dimmable, you put one light, say it's 2 feet from your face, you put the other light, your fill light, 4 feet from your face, and it gives you the same sort of difference in light power by doing the distance. And then your rim light, again, you can put on either side of your head, or I've experimented with putting the rim light directly behind my head and shining this direction. I've also experimented with putting rim light behind my back and shining it up. There's all sorts of different things you can do with the rim light, but the idea is that it makes the back of your head, gives you a little bit of a glow around your skull and your hairline that makes you separate from the background and look really nice. And then if you want to get really fancy, you can always put lights on your background or other textured things to make your backdrop stuff. We'll talk more about your backdrop later. But that is a very simple 3-point lighting setup for your studio. Now, one other thing I want to cover is if you take this 3-point lighting and you do it from the front view, right? So let me take this and we'll do our drawing again. So if we have you facing here and your desk is here, right, and you're sitting at your desk, there's my stick drawing, your key light and your fill light, you don't want them to be here, right? That is not where you want your key and your fill light. You want your key light and your fill light to be up and to the left and the right, right? So this is your key light number 1 and your fill light number 2. You want them up and shining towards your face this way. And that does a couple of things. So if you're like me and you wear glasses, right? So here's my glasses. Well, that's terrible drawing for glasses, but if you have glasses and you put the light at eye level, so if you put it down I can't delete that. If you put the light at eye level here, then the light comes out of the light, hits your glasses and goes right back into the camera, and it will make your eyeballs disappear with the reflection. So when you move your light to, you move it up, when the light comes out, it hits your glasses and bounces back down. And since your camera is here, you don't get the reflection in your glasses. So you definitely want to make sure the lights are a couple of feet above your head. So anywhere from 18 to 24 inches, depending on how bright your light is, you want to get them above your head and pointed down at your face. Also, that'll give the shadows on your face will be diagonal, so the shadows will come across this way, and which will give your face more depth, as opposed to putting the lights even with your face, which will give you essentially a flat look to your face. So that is your basics for 3-point lighting. You'll have to excuse my poor drawing skills, but that should help you get your studio lights for your podcasting studio set up properly.